Sword Ding Rebirth, The Road Against the Sky in the Hidden Continent. Chapter 1, Rebirth of Wasti Wood. In the Tianyan continent, the strong are like forests. On this continent, there are many cultivators, and there are many martial arts. Every living being is fighting to be able to step on that supreme position. It's a pity that not everyone can become a genius and become the one who is looked up to. In the southeast of Tianyan, China, there is a small and inconspicuous village called Qingyun Village. There was a young man in the village named Yan Huia. Yan Huia was originally the most mediocre boy in the village, born thin and weak, and had no skills. Outsiders jokingly call him waste wood, a complete waste. Such an evaluation made him extremely difficult in the village. Since he was a child, he suffered the early death of his mother, and his father was seriously ill, so he had no intention of coming out all day, and could only rely on his weak body to support the family. Even so, he still insisted on his weak cultivation, but he was never able to break through the barrier of cultivation. However, fate always seems to like to play tricks on people, and just as he is about to give up, a shocking change quietly comes. One day, a stranger dressed in black appeared in Qingyun village. This person exuded a powerful aura around him, and his aura was as shocking as a landslide and tsunami. Yan Huia met him by chance outside the village, and when his eyes met, he instantly felt an incomparably familiar power, as if that person had some indescribable connection with himself. The stranger looked at Yan Huia, seemed to be aware of it, and suddenly smiled. "You, reborn." This sentence was like a thunderbolt hitting Yan Huia's heart. Just when he was puzzled, a strange memory flooded into his mind. It was a memory of his previous life. He was once a famous kendo master on the Tianyan continent, named Yan Lingfeng. At that time, he had unparalleled swordsmanship and strength, but because of a conspiracy, he died in another country and became a waste wood in this life. At the moment of rebirth, the power in Yan Huia's body quietly awakened. Although he didn't fully remember all the past, the familiar aura and powerful power already made him full of hope for the future. He knew that this time, he would not give up easily. Chapter 2, The Sword and the Ding. In the fragmentary memories taught by strangers, Yan Huia learned that he had a sword called 10,000 Swords Invincible in his previous life, and this sword had its own strange sword spirit, which could be transformed into thousands of sword chi according to the owner's will, and nothing could stop it. And among the secret techniques he learned in his previous life, there is also a method called Dinglian, which can refine all things and forge endless power. These mysterious powers made him know that he was not only reborn, but also possessed the supreme talent of his previous life. However, none of this comes easily. Yan Huia clearly knew that in order to master these powers, he must first find the 10,000 Swords Invincible and the Ding hidden somewhere. And these two treasures are the only resources he can rely on after being reborn. In the back mountain of Qingyun village, Yan Huia continued to cultivate, trying to awaken the power in his body. One day, he discovers a dilapidated cave in the forest, and inside the cave hides a stone tablet engraved with ancient runes. Above the stele, there is a line of strange words. Yan Huia whispered, 10,000 swords are invincible, and the sword moves at will, refining the world and refining is invincible. At this moment, the stele suddenly glowed, and a strange power was released from the stele. At that moment, an astonishing change occurred in Yan Huia's body. He felt that all the meridians in his body seemed to be opened, and countless sword chi and power flowed through his body. He knew that at this moment, his fate had changed. At the same time, an ancient tripod-shaped pattern emerges on the stele, and the pattern exudes a mysterious light. Yan Huia's heart was shocked, and he suddenly realized that this tripod was the legendary tripod he had in his previous life. He stretched out his hand suddenly, and the light of the ding was instantly sucked into his body, and Yan Huia felt an incomparably powerful force, drawn from this ding, causing his cultivation to skyrocket. From then on, his cultivation process was like a broken bamboo, and countless enemies came one after another, but no matter who came, his sword chi could tear everything apart in an instant. With the awakening of strength, Yan Huia gradually showed a unique talent, and countless geniuses and strong people have become his stepping stones in the future. Chapter 3, Breaking Through the Heavenly Shadow. With the rise of Yan Huia's power, his name began to spread in the heavenly hidden continent. Not only that, but the man in black who was traveling with him also gradually revealed his true identity. He was actually the sect master of one of the strongest sects on the Tianyan continent, the Tianyun sect, named Ling Yun. Sect master Ling Yun told Yan Huia that he had been observing him and decided to take him as a disciple and teach him more martial arts. During his time in the Tianyun sect, Yan Huia not only learned more swordsmanship secrets, but also learned more secrets about the Tianyan continent. On this continent, countless sects compete for power, and the strong are like clouds, and only by breaking through the ultimate mysterious place of Tianyan can they become a truly invincible existence. And that place is the legendary Heavenly Hidden Peak. However, all this is not as simple as it seems. The major sects of the Tianyan continent have long been eyeing this mysterious top of the Heavenly Hidden Continent. In the process of cultivating, Yan Huia encountered challenges from all sides, and some people even secretly designed to frame him in an attempt to prevent him from approaching this ultimate destination. But whenever he encounters difficulties, Yan Wei can always draw strength from the memories of his previous life and break through many obstacles. His swordsmanship is becoming more and more sophisticated, and his refining skills are becoming more and more powerful. The challenges again and again have not only made him more tenacious, but also made his name an insurmountable legend in everyone's hearts. Chapter 4, The Road Against the Heavens. In the process of constantly breaking through himself, Yan Wei finally stood on the top of the hidden sky. It is a place full of ancient atmosphere, surrounded by countless mystical powers, as if every step can touch the laws of heaven and earth. Just as he was about to enter this mysterious place, a former enemy suddenly appeared in front of him, the sinister Lu Zhen. Lu Zhen used to be Yan Wei's fellow brother, but later betrayed him because of his jealousy of Yan Wei. Now, he appeared in front of Yan Wei, his eyes full of deep resentment and hostility. Yan Wei, do you think that if you are reborn, you will be able to surpass me? Lu Zhen sneered, the sword in his hand flashing with an icy light. Today, I will let you see who is the real powerhouse in this continent. Yan Wei's eyes were like torches, he took a deep breath, and the sword in his hand was instantly pulled out. This time, he is no longer the boy who is regarded as a waste of firewood, but the strongest swordsman in Tianyan, China. The sword light flashed, and the heavens and the earth shook. In the end, Yan Wei's sword chi was unstoppable, and Lu Zhen was defeated. With Lu Zhen's defeat, Yan Wei finally stepped into the top of the hidden sky to meet his final fate. Since then, Yan Wei's name has become a legend on the Tianyan continent. Chapter 5, The Secret of the Hidden Top. Yan Wei successfully broke through all the obstacles and stepped into the top of the heavenly hidden height. The place was not as simple as he had imagined. Surrounded by an indescribable coercion, it was as if the whole world was distorted, and there was an extremely ancient aura in the air. This breath is like some kind of hidden power, burying all traces of the past and weighing the road ahead extremely heavy. Standing in the center of the hidden top, he looked around and saw countless runes carved into the four walls, each rune like some mysterious language, intertwined with each other into a seemingly insoluble web. Yan Wei's heart shook slightly, he knew that these runes were not only records, but also a test, a hidden problem. He approached one of the walls and reached out to touch it gently. In an instant, he felt a vibration in his body, and the whole world seemed to tremble violently. He quickly withdrew his hand, only to see the runes on the wall suddenly emerge, forming a new pattern, revealing an ancient image, a huge tripod with a strange glow circulating on it. This tripod, Yan Wei knows, is the tripod he had in his previous life. He looked at the image in surprise, his heart moved, and he suddenly remembered the previous sentence, refining heaven and earth, refining is invincible. He took a deep breath, focused his gaze on the image, and summoned the power within him to begin to try to understand the true meaning of the runes. As his understanding of the runes deepened, the space around him suddenly changed, and the runes on the wall seemed to come to life, sending out a strong summoning to him. It's the true power of the heavenly hidden continent. Yan Wei's heart shook suddenly. These runes and images showed not only Ding's secrets, but also hidden the deepest secrets of this continent. Chapter 6, The Truth of the Hidden Continent. Just as Yan Wei was concentrating on pondering the runes, a voice echoed in the air, "You, finally here." Yan Wei turned around and saw an old man in an ancient Taoist robe slowly walking in front of him. The old man's face was blurred, and a mysterious aura shrouded his body, making it difficult to look at directly. His voice was like thunder, shaking the whole heavens and the earth. "I am the guardian of this continent, named Wushan." The old man said indifferently, "The past and future of this continent are under our control. What you see is not as simple as you think." Yan Wei's heart froze, and he realized that the old man in front of him was not just an ordinary existence, but a strong man who transcended time and space. He couldn't help but ask, "What do you mean by this? Why is this continent so mysterious, and even the top of the hidden heaven is full of such tests?" The heavenless old man let out a long sigh, and a trace of helplessness flashed in his eyes. "This continent has been full of countless battles and mysteries since ancient times. The rise of every strong man has to go through countless trials. And the real secret is hidden behind these trials. The sword and the tripod you have obtained are the key to unlocking this piece of China." Yan Wei's eyes widened. "Sword and Ding? So, why do I have these two artifacts? What exactly are they?" Wushan smiled slightly, and there was a hint of compassion in his eyes. "These artifacts are not simple weapons. They were created in ancient China and represent the power of creation. The sword represents power and destruction, while the tripod symbolizes creation and refinement. When the two are combined, you can control the laws of heaven and earth and reach an invincible state." "But why are these two artifacts on me?" Yan Wei was puzzled in his heart. The heavenless old man looked at him deeply. "Because you are the chosen person of the heavenly hidden continent, the inheritor of the mandate of heaven. Your death in your past life was not accidental, but a designed trial. In this life, you must complete the unfinished mission, and after being reborn, fully awaken the power of the sword and the tripod. These words made Yan Hui's mood extremely heavy. It turned out that he was not just an ordinary reborn, and every step he took was a fate that had long been destined on this continent. He couldn't help but ask, so what exactly is my mission? Why should you choose me? Wu Yuxian's eyes became deep. You must go through all this and put an end to the strife and darkness on this continent. You are the only one who can fuse these powers, and only you can solve the ultimate mystery of Tianyan China. Yan Hui took a deep breath and decided not to back down. He has grown from a scrappy boy in the past to a strong man today. No matter how difficult the path is, he will not hesitate to go down. Chapter 7, The Final Trial. The words of the old man were like a shock, and Yan Hui knew that his fate had already been doomed. And the final test of the top of the sky will also be an inevitable battle he faces. At this moment, there was a sudden drastic change around the top of the heavenly hidden peak, and a roar was heard in the sky, and then a black pillar of light pointed straight into the sky, illuminating the entire heaven and earth. Yan Hui knew that the final trial had begun, and this decisive battle related to the fate of Tianyan China could not be avoided. He clenched the sword in his hand, and the power of refining in his body began to boil, and at this moment, all the power gathered in his body alone. Come on! A fearless light flashed in Yan Hui's eyes, and with invincible determination, he walked towards the black light that hid countless secrets. A battle for the future is unfolding at the pinnacle of the continent. Chapter 8, The Truth in the Black Light. Yan Hui's steps were particularly firm under the illumination of the black pillar of light. His sword was silently unsheathed, and its body shone with an extremely bright light, as if it was fighting against the darkness of the entire sky. The air was filled with a tearing breath, and the energy fluctuations between the entire heaven and earth became more and more intense, as if every breath carried the power of collapse. When he stepped into the black light, the whole world was instantly plunged into darkness. At this moment, Yan Hui felt that his perception was blocked, and everything around him seemed to become blurred. The sound of his heartbeat echoed in the silence, and there was no sound in his ears, only the approaching heaviness. However, in the midst of this darkness, a low humming suddenly sounded in Yan Hui's body, and as that power rose, the whole world began to become clear. The darkness in front of him was gradually torn apart by a layer of golden light, revealing a huge phantom surrounded by ancient runes. The appearance of the phantom made Yan Hui dumbfounded. It was like a large and complex mechanism, fused with countless symbols and totems. At the center of this phantom is a huge tripod, which exudes a mysterious aura, and with its existence, the entire space trembles. This is... Yan Hui's heart was shocked. He knew that this tripod coincided with the tripod he was looking for. It is not only the creation of the world, but also a forbidden existence, hiding the secrets of countless continents. You're finally here. A deep voice sounded, causing Yan Hui's heartbeat to speed up involuntarily. The sound seems to resonate from heaven and earth, and it seems impossible to determine where it came from, but it does exist, and it is one with heaven and earth. He looked around and noticed that in the darkness around him, the figure of a white-haired old man appeared. The man's face was ancient, dressed in fine clothes, and his breath was far-reaching and profound, which seemed to be somewhat similar to that of the heavenless elder, but it was even deeper. I am the creator of this continent, and my name is Peerless. The old man spoke, his voice echoing in the air. The Ding you see is the source of the heavenly hidden continent, the creation of the world. It controls all the laws of this China, and the power of all the strong is based on its existence. Yan Hui's heart was shocked. Creator? So, how did these runes, these powers, come about? Zhu Tian smiled slightly, as if he had already expected this question. These powers originate from the peak of all things. The peak of Vientian is formed by the condensation of the essence of heaven and earth when heaven and earth first opened. Every strong person, whether it is kendo, alchemy, or other cultivation, is all influenced by Ding. It has immense power and is capable of creating or destroying everything. Yan Hui's heart became more and more puzzled. So, is my death in my previous life related to all this? A trace of inexplicable emotion flashed in Zhuxian's eyes. Your death in your previous life is precisely for the coming of this moment. You are the heir of the mandate of heaven, the only one who can unlock all the secrets of this China. So, how do I unlock these secrets? A hint of determination flashed in Yan Hui's eyes. Absolutely silent, with a flick of his finger, the darkness around him was torn apart again, revealing a huge curtain of light. In the light curtain, a labyrinthine world was revealed, with countless runes and images intertwined, like some kind of mysterious test. This is the final trial. The voice of the peerless heaven sounded again. You must find the right path in this labyrinth and solve all the puzzles. All this will be your final test. Yan Hui stared at the world in the light curtain, and secretly made up his mind in his heart. He knew that this test was not only a test of his strength, but also a test of his mind and will. Chapter 9, Choices in the Labyrinth. The labyrinth is filled with intricate runes that act like endless paths that lead him in different directions. With every step he took, Yan Hui could feel the ever-changing energy around him, as if an invisible force was challenging his will. He stopped, closed his eyes, and tried to listen to everything around him. The experiences of the past, the memories of his past life, and the knowledge he had learned from the immortal and the peerless, all seemed to be quietly merging at this time. He began to realize that this labyrinth was not a physical challenge, but a mental game. In the depths of the labyrinth, a golden light flashed, and Yan Wei suddenly opened his eyes and found that he was already standing in an empty place. There were no walls, no runes, just a huge stone platform with an ancient tripod on it. There seems to be some kind of attractive power in Ding Zhong, which makes people unable to extricate themselves. Yan Wei walked to the stone platform and stared down at the ding. He reached out and touched the surface of the ding, feeling a powerful force flowing through it. With the touch of his fingers, the light in the tripod instantly lit up, the surrounding space trembled instantly, and the entire labyrinth began to collapse. A deafening voice sounded in his ears, "You have successfully passed the trial, Yan Wei. The future of the heavenly hidden continent will be decided by you." As the voice echoed, Yan Wei found himself back in place at the top of the heavenly hidden peak. The source of that black pillar of light had vanished, and the sky was calm again. Chapter 10, A New Beginning. Yan Wei's heart is extremely clear. In his eyes, there is no longer the confusion of the past, but a firmness that has never been there before. He knew that he had a heavy responsibility to change the fate of this continent. And his sword and tripod will also become the most powerful force in this world. He raised his head, stared into the distance, and secretly vowed in his heart, "No matter what the future holds, I will go on without fear." The fate of the heavenly hidden continent will be in his hands from now on. This war for the future will begin and end with him.